Shannon, what do you think? Should this have been a flagrant two?
Yes, because as the refs explained it, he wound up, hit him in the face, and then he grabbed him by his jersey and snatched him out of the air. The guy has already airborne. That is a very dangerous play. And I think the thing is, Skip, is that Draymond Green has lost the benefit of the doubt. Far too many times he's been on the wrong end of these. The better question is, why is Draymond always on the end of these? Was that a flagrant on Steph? Was that a flagrant on Clay? Was that a flagrant on Looney? Was that a flagrant on Draymond?
Yep.
Skip, you can't continuously do this. You know it. He knows it's kind of like anything, Skip. A guy that's always in trouble. The first time something happens in the neighborhood, the cops show up, who they asking? Even if he didn't have anything to do with it because his reputation precedes him. Even in the playoffs, Draymond, a lot of your flagrant fouls have happened in the playoffs. Kicking Steven Adams. Well, I think that was the regular. That might have been the postseason.
No, it was the
postseason. Yeah. And LeBron.
Yeah.
So far too many times, Dre, you found yourself on the wrong end of these.
Yep.
And I get it, Skip, if he's playing football, that'd have been a great play. Tackle the guy by his jersey, snatch him down like, oh, man, Draymond got some strong hands.
Yep.
But you can't do that in basketball. And even after you start to snatch him out the air, you cannot extend and say, well, Draymond tried to soften this fall. He didn't catch him. The floor caught him. He tried. I get it. In the playoffs, as Draymond mentioned, Skip, things are a little bit tougher. We'll talk about the Boston series and how the bumping and the physicality is increased. But there are still certain things that you can't do. Even in playoff football, it's refereed a little looser because of it's the playoffs. But Skip, you still can't grab the guy's face mask and throw him down. It's still a penalty. And so because Draymond's history of this and because he wound up, hit the guy in the face and grabbed him by the jersey, it wasn't good enough to just hit the guy in the face. He's like, I'm going to make sure you don't get this ball off. I'm going to snatch your butt out the air by your jersey. So for me, yes, Skip, it warranted that. And then how he left the court. Why would he do that? Why would he behave in that manner after Draymond, I thought you learned your lesson in Game 4 in 2016. That everybody says you cost your team. Yep. You almost cost your team this game, but still you haven't learned your lesson. So how many more series you're going to have to cost your team before you know what, guys, I can't do this. Man, you know what, I'm hurting my team. I know it's all good. Look, I love the way the guy plays. He's an undersized big, playing down there with the bigs, and he does a great job of battling. He's the heartbeat. He's the pulse of that team. But this was absolutely the right call to make, given that it's Draymond Green and given that it's his history. So, yes, I had no problem, absolutely no problem, Skip, with this being a flagrant two.
I don't like Draymond Green, but I had a problem.
Okay.
And I immediately tweeted, you can look at my timeline, I had a problem because it's the playoffs. And I don't want to see this in the playoffs.
Right.
I didn't want to see what happened in 2016 in the finals.
Right.
Because that penalty was so severe. To suspend Draymond Green for a finals game, I still haven't quite gotten over it because I can't believe Kiki Vandeweghe and everybody else in the commissioner's office decided, let's take him out of Game 5 as they return to Oracle. It absolutely handed LeBron James and Kyrie and the rest LeBron's third ring. It reopened a door that was about to be slammed shut because it got slammed on LeBron's hand in Game 4. And it was a complete wipeout. But as you know, that happened.
Right.
And that happened late in a blowout game.
Correct.
And he called him the B word so audibly that Kiki could hear it in the third row.
But he also kicked him in the groin.
Well, I'm saying, but that came first.
Yes.
The B word came first, and then they go up court, tangling, and then they go down, and he kicks him in the midsection. And it's so blatant that he'd already done it to Steven Adams earlier in the playoffs, and he has a long track record of all of the above.
Right.
That he actually got tossed from that game and got suspended for the next game. That is unprecedented, and to this day, I've never seen anything like that.
Right.
So I'm still a little bit raw from that, which is why yesterday I immediately tweeted I wouldn't have thrown him out because it's the playoffs, and I just don't want to see a key piece. He's obviously, you can argue he's the key piece.
Well, Skip, if he knows he's the key piece, why would he keep putting himself in that situation? If I know I'm being counted on, if I know I'm going to be really needed by my team, why would I put myself and my team in harm's way?
I got it. But he has always been validated internally because he has been seen as the bouncer for that team.
Yes.
He has been seen as the enforcer for that team. He has been seen as the edge provider for a team that has no edge.
Yes.
We got baby-faced assassin Steph.
Right.
And we got Clay, who's such a nice guy that he's almost too nice of a guy, though he made a big clutch shot in this game.
Right.
And the rest of the team is all finesse. It's all beautiful basketball. It's more like the Spurs used to be. It's share the ball. It's why Kevin Durant wanted to go be a part of this, because the ball moves beautifully and there's no superstar in the team who won't share the basketball.
Correct.
They're as great a shooters as Steph and Clay are. They're not gunner shooters. You know, they're not without conscience.
Right.
They will pass the basketball.
Yes, they will make the extra pass.
So what did you need from the start? The crucial component, the guts and the glue to it was Draymond.
Yes.
And the irony of Draymond is he's a cheap shot artist who is actually an artist, because he's as good a passer as there is on the team.
Absolutely.
He is the point forward, right?
Yes.
So he could serve two roles. He could be the enforcer and the point forward. Well, that's an unheard of blend of talents, where you can be a badass over here, but you can be the initiator, the orchestrator, right? The maestro.
Right.
You can be the maestro.
Right.
To me, he's the best passer on the team, and he made a couple yesterday where I said, wow, that was really smart. Right?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he leads them in assists.
Well, he always has, but he always leads them in best passes. Steph's a very good passer, but he's not Draymond. No. And Draymond will bang and board, and he'll play defense at the highest level, and he's always a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So he gives you a bizarre sort of package, but he's also a flat-out cheap shot artist who internally gets validated because they need this.
Yes.
But for him, this was unprecedented to me. Since when do we avoid the post-game interview session to go back to the hotel to do your own emergency podcast? Is that not a new one on you? Right?
The NBA is not going to be happy with this.
They're not going to be happy because there's no cross-examination. You're unopposed, right? You get to go sit. I think he was in his hotel room.
I think he was also. Yes.
So he's just looking to his own microphone, and here we go.
Right.
And for him to go all the way to, I didn't even think it was going to be a flagrant one. What? Are you kidding me? Now you've gone completely over the edge delusional. Right. You've lost me on that one. What? Just because it's the playoffs? Well, you can't do that. And then we go back to the description of the play, the explanation of the play from Kane Fitzgerald, the head referee. So his point was that Draymond Green has been ejected for the windup to the face, the impact to the face, the follow through with the jersey, and the throw down to the ground.
Right.
Well, it's actually a 2-for-1 because he got him with the right hand and just smacked him in the face. Well, we know by today's standards, you can't do that. So it's going to be a flagrant one.
That's a flagrant one.
Okay.
And then with the left skip, he smacked him in the face with the right and then grabbed him with the left.
Okay, now help me out. I've been covering NBA playoff games since the middle 1970s, so I've seen a bunch of old school playoff basketball. I can't remember anybody ever grabbing the front of the jersey to tear down, to rip down. I've never seen it. Maybe somebody can update me and say, oh, remember when?
That's a front horse collar.
It's a front horse collar. But I've seen all kinds of takedowns.
Yes.
I've seen all kinds of old school takedowns where you just get knocked up against the stanchion. You get wiped out. It's like you got a layup or a dunk, and all of a sudden you're in the third row.
Right.
Okay, that's old school basketball, and it's just your basic 2-shot foul, and you go shoot it.
Correct.
But this was a grab with the left, like you said, right and then left, and a pull down, and yet after the fact, after Brandon Clark pretty much hits the floor, then he's pulling up on him like, whoops, I didn't mean to, but he didn't really break his fall.
He did not.
Okay, so I get if you add all that up, especially by today's standards, the way these games are officiated, well, it's at least a flagrant one, but I'm not shocked that they went to flagrant 2. I was surprised. I was not shocked.
If that's Kevon Looney, I don't know if they go to a flagrant 2 because
Maybe
he has
not.
no history of that.
Well,
but Skip, you mentioned it, given his background in this type of behavior, I don't really think they had a choice. And I get it, the playoffs, but it rolled to the level of egregiousness because it is Draymond and because he has a history. But the thing, Draymond, at some point in time, bro, you're going to have to stop this because you caught. Everybody says, and I still believe the Cavs would have won. But how many more series are you going to have to cost your team? But Skip, now he had 5 turnovers in 17 minutes because he was playing okay, but he wasn't playing great.
No, I agree. And if you project that out, if he winds up with 10 for the game, they're going to have a hard time.
Exactly.
Just to me. So it wasn't the greatest loss in the world.
Right.
Where he was having a little bit of an out of control passing game.
Right.
Okay. Now the other thing that he lost me on was the initial reaction was Steve Kerr said that Draymond told him immediately, I accidentally got my hand caught in his jersey.
No, you reached
Now
up.
you've completely lost me.
Thank you.
You did not accident. That was no accident.
You reached up.
You accidentally, I got caught in his jersey. I don't think so.
I can see Skip. Here's the thing. I could agree with Draymond. If in the process, if I'm trying to come down and I hit him in his face and on the way down I grab the jersey. But if I hit you in the face with the right and then I come, how do I accidentally pick my left hand up to grab you by your jersey? How do I accidentally do that?
Yep. And finally, where he completely and utterly lost me, and I tweeted this, that it almost validated the flagrant 2 for me when he did some weird, bizarre sort of victory lap around the arena going crazy. That was crazy person actions, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm saying, what just happened to you? So on his podcast, his emergency podcast, he said he initially thought about, I'm going to dance to the crowd because they're going to be wrong.
Right.
And they're all saying, throw him out, throw him. They're chanting, throw him out. And I'm going to dance in front of them, and I'm going to taunt them back. I'm not thrown out. I'm not thrown out. Well, he said, then I bit my lip because of my history. I know it could go against me. Yeah, you better believe it could.
Yeah.
You put yourself in harm's way once again.
Right.
With a double negative here because you got a 2-for-1 shot.
Correct.
And then he doesn't talk on the podcast about when it did come down flagrant 2, he lost his mind. Have you ever seen anybody just run around just going crazy like that? And to me, the commissioner is sitting back saying, I'm really glad now that we went flagrant 2 because he just validated our decision.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Yes.
That's horrendous.
And he's probably going to get, I don't know, he did leave in a timely manner. It's just the antics, the histrionics of how he left the court.
Okay.
Just leave the court. Hey, have security walk you out so nobody throws anything or goes haywire and just go.
Because that was unprecedented too. I've never seen anybody do that.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just harm upon harm upon harm. And it's almost like he should get fined for the reaction, let alone just the flagrant 2, right?
Yeah. Maybe they're going to say he didn't leave in a timely manner.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, there was a really good basketball game that ensued.
And this happened to overshadow it.
Okay, I'm going to let you go first on this. But what is your biggest takeaway for why Golden State stole Game 1 at Memphis?
Because the best rebounding team got out-rebounded by one of the bottom-tier rebounding teams. One of the teams that has the guy that led the NBA in points in the paint allowed this team, who doesn't have a big, to beat them with points in the paint.
And by the way, Memphis led the whole league in rebounding. Go ahead. It was 50-47 yesterday, Golden State.
Skip. And offensive rebounding. Everybody knows Golden State doesn't offensive rebound. Had tied Memphis. And on the shot that Klay Thompson hit, Klay shot the 3, they got the offensive rebound. Steph shot the 3, they got the Wiggins got the tip in, ended up getting pushed out of bounds. They get the ball, another chance again on the jump ball.
They did.
And then Klay hits a 3.
To your point, Golden State had 5 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter alone. Go ahead.
And that was the difference in the ball game. Mm-hmm. And what Memphis is going to have to find, out, this is not Minnesota.
No.
They're not going to make the dumb plays that Minnesota made and allow you to come back and win.
Yep.
They're going to beat you. They're going to make you make those dumb plays, and then they're going to beat you in your building. Mm-hmm. That was the difference in the ball game, Skip. Memphis had an opportunity to blow this ball game open. But they thought somehow, man, this Minnesota, man, this thing too easy. They're too battle-tested. Steph, Klay, and Jordan Poole. Skip, I don't think Steve Kerr gets enough credit because when KD got there, it's easy. I mean, he got KD, Steph, and Klay. How hard could it be? But to start Peyton in the first half and then go to Jordan Poole in the second half, that's coaching. And he did.
I'll buy that.
He did an excellent.
Although it's a pretty easy move to make.
Well, here's the thing. But I was like, well, how did they do this? Because if he insert Peyton, he's going to have to take. Well, he's not taking Steph or Klay out. That means he's going to take Jordan Poole, who's having an all-time great season. He could have easily won Most Improved Player. I probably would have given it to him or DeJounte Murray, but that's neither here nor there, Skip. What the Grizzlies are going to find out, this team is battle-tested. So all that little histrionics and all that stuff that you did with Minnesota and you gritty and y'all get in the crowd.
He can't guard me. He can't guard me. Go ahead.
They're going to be unfazed.
Yep.
They've been in these type situations since 2015? Too many times.
Yep. They roll their eyes at all this. Right. I agree.
Go ahead.
Okay. I had an elation-deflation weekend with my Memphis Grizzlies, whom I picked probably sillily to win the West. But the elation came on Friday night because I did not think they could go up there to Minnesota and win that game, and they did.
Didn't I tell you they go play Minnesota, go Timberwolves, go to Timberwolves?
Yeah, but you also said it was going to go 7.
But I did, Skip, but I was like, but you watched the game. You saw what they did.
Okay, I want you to understand. I want to drive home this point that 70% of the time against the T-Wolves over a 6-game span, 70% of those 6 games, Memphis trailed.
Yes.
Bad sign. They won the 6 fourth quarters by plus 62 points. Wow. So you just know that 3 times they came back in the fourth quarters from 10 or more points down after 3, which had never been done in any single playoff series in the history of the NBA.
Wow.
But you are living dangerously.
Yes.
You are living on the edge. And it's going to come back and bite you if you're not playing the Timberwolves.
Yes.
Now you're playing the Golden State Warriors, and as Steph always says, we have championship DNA. Okay, I got you. But once again, with 8:25 left in this game, Golden State was ahead 103-93. So at home, Memphis against the mighty Golden State Warriors, who have caught fire and found themselves late in the season. They're down 10 with 8:25 left. And help me out, what happened, Mr. Sharpe? Here came my Grizz yet again. And they did to Golden State what they've done to everybody all season long. They go on a 19-7 run. That's hard to do against this team with those shooters out on the floor. Because, by the way, Jordan Poole's starting to look a whole lot like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Is he not?
Yes.
Do they not have 3 great shooters instead of just 2? Is he not like a hybrid Klay-Steph, Steph-Klay, right? Okay, so they go on a 19-7 run, and with 2:19 left in the game, Ja goes in for one of his driving swoops to the hoop and lays it in left-handed off. He's better with his left hand than his right hand.
He's always trying to get to that left hand.
I got it. He loves that left hand, unfortunately, at the end of the game. But with 2:19 left, swoop to the hoop, and all of a sudden, Memphis is up 2.
Right.
And I'm just like blown away by this. They've got them. They've got them right where they want them. And I've got to drive home this point. As you know, I have cautioned you again and again about Steph Curry in the postseason. He does not come up clutch when you need him to. He has occasionally, but sometimes, especially in NBA Finals, especially against the Cavaliers in 5, 6, and 7 in 2016, especially against the Toronto Raptors in 2018, he came up even smaller than he is at about 6 feet 3 inches tall. The shock of the night was Klay Thompson walks to the free throw line, and I know he's been out for 2 years. And so my team gets a break off that because it was actually off Memphis, out of bounds off Brandon Clark, but they jump balled it, and, okay, Memphis gets the ball. So here we go down the stretch for the last play of the game. And as Ja always says, what's the play called in the huddle? Ja, get a bucket. That's the play. Ja, get a bucket.
Right.
Well, they actually did call a play. He made it. He forced him completely outside the paint.
He had Gary Payton II. He had him beaten.
But he scored 34 points. So Gary Payton didn't exactly do a number on him, did he?
That's the trail play. You remember the national championship game, Villanova, North Carolina?
Yeah, it's in miniature, sort of like it's half court.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally, what the guy did, you pass to the inbound, let Ja get ahead of steam coming downhill, how quick he is.
All right. So this is a simple second guess by me. But someday, as Ja grows, he's just a baby in this league, and he's doing great. That he's doing a grown man things, but he's still a baby in his maturity. To me, it's a hook pass right back to Brandon Clark for a dunk, because I think he could have dunked it. He would have had a head of steam. Wiggins is standing on the basket, but at least Wiggins is going to have to foul him. But Brandon Clark just goes right down the lane after the pass. Just give it right back. Just give it right back. If he lobs it up, if he just does a lob to him, I swear he just goes up and dunks it. Easy second guess, because I've seen the play now 94 times.
I think the thing is, and if he does that, everybody's going to say, Ja, just go ahead and take it. We'd rather have you take it, Ja.
All right.
They passed the ball to Brandon Clark.
But the problem was it didn't even come close.
Yeah, he's going too fast, Skip.
Well, he's going too fast, and the angle starts to diminish down to where you barely have enough angle to even tick it off the glass.
Right.
And so it goes long, and it hits nothing but glass.
Right.
Didn't even touch the rim. So it winds up being not a great shot. It winds up being maybe you should have changed directions and tried to come inside of Clay and draw the foul. Well, he had a turnover with 19 seconds left in which he tried to go straight up into Steph. He's just too little.
Right.
It's the Trae Young sort of syndrome of there's a ceiling to
Well, I
exactly
think the thing is, Steph made a great play, Skip, because he knows Ja got to bring the ball up. Ja has the ball down here, but Steph's like, it can't go in the basket from down there. So I know I just got to time it up.
Well, it's not like he leaped. He just put his hand up.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it was a pretty easy block.
And Steph said, I locked him up. I locked this down.
But it's like a flat-footed block, right?
It was.
Okay.
But, Skip, the Warriors out-rebounded the Grizz 15-9.
Okay.
A team that's not known
I got
for...
it.
What are they known for?
I got it. Steven Adams, COVID, okay? He was their leading rebounder.
Right.
I know he didn't play against Minnesota because they didn't like the matchup because Karl Anthony drifts out there and shoots threes like they're free throws.
Right.
Could Steven Adams have helped some yesterday? Could you play him some in this series? I believe you could.
Not as... Skip, they're not really playing Looney a whole lot. When he played 19 minutes, you're going to have to play him with Looney.
You could try.
Yeah, but
Again,
Skip,
he led them with 10 rebounds.
Yeah, but Skip, you can't skip. This team, even with no Steven Adams, this team can't out-rebound it. You still got Jackson. You still got Tillman. You still got Clark.
I got it. Last quick point about this. I do believe it was hard on Memphis to go up there and fight it out and win a Game 6 and almost have to play back-to-back because it's only like a day and a half of a turnaround and you have to travel. So were they a little bit spent? Were they not quite focused yet on Golden State?
No, they're too young. They're too young to have any excuse.
I don't know. I still like them in Game 2.
No, you better hope
Well, guys, the Grizz get another bite at the apple tomorrow night. Tip-off for Game 2 at 7:30. We'll see how that one turns out.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.